I'm sharing back my screen. Is the screen visible to everybody? Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. As per our last session, we have covered so far like what is GitHub and how to create its account. Other than that, like new things we discussed, like what are the collaborators, and it is a version management system where the like different versions of the code we can maintain. Multiple people can work at the same time. The code can be shared among the organization, and people can go through that code. They can review. Uh, they can ask for if any changes required on the code, and they can approve the changes, maintaining the different features. So we discussed like if we want to do the practical today, what is required. So first necessity thing was like we need to have the GitHub account. So I hope like everybody has created their GitHub account.
Yes.
Yeah, so after the GitHub account is created with your email ID password, like for a GitHub account, just I will brief like what we did yesterday. After passing the GitHub account, I mean email ID, new password, then one mail will be sent to your actual email. From there, you have to approve. After doing all of those steps, we can again come back to sign in page with your credentials. We can log in successfully. Okay. Now, coming down, like let me log into my account also. So once you log in, you can see, like you'll get this screen after the successful login. You can go to your from here. From here, you can go to your basically your profile section is there. So this page will open after your profile. Then we have to go to the repository, and from there basically we can create our new repository. Repository is nothing but it's the like new project name for which you want to have a like code, and you want to share with the team, you want to work on that. So here couple of the projects I have, like finance demo, angular demo project. So similar way, I think I have opened the different profile. Let me open my actual profile. Yeah, so this one. So here I am having is some different profile, like already existing code. I mean different projects basically. So we will now create a new project, and on top of that, basically we'll see like what will be the starting steps for us. So now we will discuss on like create project steps. First thing is like we have to create a new repository. So for creating the a new repository, we have to go to the repository section. One second. Let's go to your our profile first. I think from there it will come. So we'll go to a profile. Again, wrong profile is coming. Yeah, so here, okay, let let me sign out and log in with new other account. So yeah, I will log in with my actual GitHub account. So once we log in successfully, we have to go to our profile, and once we log in with our account, when we'll go to the repository section, we'll get the here new button in right top corner. So we'll click on the new. We have to give our repository name. So I will create like GitHub demo repository. So I'm giving this name. Then we can give the description for it, like this repository will be consisting of steps followed for GitHub. So we can give the similar description, like if you are writing, creating the kind of the project similar to that, you have to give the description. So I'm just creating the GitHub demo repository, and what I will be having code in that, like steps related to the GitHub, like how to work on the GitHub. So that description I am giving. If you are working on different project, you have to give the description according to that. Now the next option is coming like public and private. So in public section, anyone on the internet can see this repository, and you can choose like who can commit. So here commit means like the person who can push their code in this repository. So commit is nothing, but it is pushing the code to the repository. Okay. So here instead of like the word commit is will be like most used in this for the GitHub. So commit means uh, like sending code to repository. So this is the meaning of the word commit. Similarly, some other terminology will come. We'll going through that. I will explain. So this is a public, and anyone on the internet can see that repository, but you will decide like who will push the code to the repository. So it is visible to the everybody, but others can not make changes in the code. That is the like if the your profile is public, I mean your repository profile is public. If you choose your repository to be the private, then you can allow like who can see the repository and who can like commit that, so who can change the code also. So if profile is public, all can see, you decide who will change code. But if the your profile is private, you decide who can see plus who will change. So that is difference between the being the profile is public and private. Public means all can see, but you decide who will change the code. Private means you decide for both the things, who will change the code and who can see it. Because in the when people keep it the private, if they want some of the code which they feel it is very sensitive, like information related to the banking application, or some of the code which they want to work for their organization only, and till the time it is going in the development, they don't want to review allow other people to see. Once the whole development is done successfully, So it is their wish, like they will allow or not. So to restrict, basically we can say on the security purpose, we can use the private profile. Now I'm keeping this as a public because this purpose of creating this repository is to have the steps for the GitHub repo. So if everybody can access this, it will be informative for them. So I'm keeping this profile as public. Now initialize this repository. Initialize means starting this repository. So for starting your repository, there should be at least one file in it. If there is no file, so others cannot see that code because there is nothing in that. Just you have given the one name, so that name people cannot see till the time you are not having any in the file. So just to add one simple file, I will add one like sample file, and that file name will be the readme. So readme, basically what file like that file will be consist of, this is where you can write a long description. So in the readme file we can write the description about our project. Okay, so to learn about more, we can go here, open that link in the new tab. So what is the README basically? So you can add a README file to your repository to tell other people why your project is useful, what they can do with your project, and how they can use it. So basically the all the description about your project, if anything, any new link you want to give there to further some reference, you can give the link in your repository. So the same thing like it has explained here. At the last of the session, I will send these all the links for you if you want to go through in the detail of it. But this is like this, these all things has been written to like how to write the description basically in the README file. So README file is a description file about your project. So that I have checked here. Now here it is asking for the template like git git ignore, choose which files not to track from a list of template. So when we'll be having our code on our local, so some of the files will be that we don't want to be present on the GitHub. So we can use a like setting file git ignore. In the git ignore, whatever the file will keep, that will be not present on the GitHub. So git ignore will be a setting file. Currently it is none. If I check this drop down, so like it is asking which file we have to ignore, which kind of the file. So it is asking action script, C, like programming language it is giving. So it's specific to that program, suppose I select here C++. So all the files which are related to the C++ will be not committed, will be not sent here on the GitHub. So there will be restriction on the C++ file, that will be not. But since I want all type of the files to be committed, so I will put here the none. Now second is choose a license. So a license tell other that what they can and cannot do with your code. So to if the other people, like we are giving the private and public profile, it is not directly saying like everything, even the profile is private, then also you can give some restriction on that. Like if the profile is private and you have given access to some people, but still you want to have some more restriction on that. So for that purpose, you can here give some kind of the license to them. So that license I have not yet used so far, but we can put this kind of the license but I think it might be the paid. So just I will check more details about the licensing part, but this generally we do not use we do not make any changes on the license for just having a general repository. So I'm keeping none. Now this will set. So it is saying like by default, there will be basically, as I mentioned, like there will be different version of your code, and different people might work on the uh, different piece of the code. So just to inform about that, we'll discuss more in detail, like what is the branch. For now, what is branch? So basically, we can maintain the versions. For maintaining the different versions, we can have the different branch. So the main aim for the having the branch is like same piece of the code will be present in the like head. Everybody will copy from the head their code, but if they want some code, new code to be present in their specific to them only, so in that case they will create the branch. Once like our repository is successfully created, so I will explain more about the branch. So let me come back here. So it is saying like by default there will be the main branch created. Now here at last it is showing like you are creating a public repository in your personal account. So here it is showing the personal account because like I am creating with my personal Gmail ID. If a organization level I have to create our GitHub. So for each of the organization, like whatever the organization you are working, so related to that organization, one URL will be generated. So this is a general URL which is showing like it is a github.com. But if the suppose a person is working on TCS, so their profile will be like tcs.github.com, something like that. So that will be related to the organization, but it is the personal account basically. So that's why it is saying like your profile will be a public repository since I have checked the public, and it will be on my personal account. Now when I click on the create repository, so you can see like here this like screens is getting generated. So I'll just briefly describe about what it is. So if you'll see this left on top, so this first one is my user ID Arun Singh 2, and this is my GitHub repo which we have given. And the description which I given, like this repository will be consisting of the steps followed for the GitHub. That description is coming at the bottom. Okay. So this is the one file which I present. So directly it is here on dashboard. If you see this, one file is only present. Okay, and one commit. So when you create one repository, so what I told like commit is the part of the code which is like coming. So if I click on just commit, like what is the commit to show? So commit is showing like Arun Singh. The person name is given here like Arun Singh has committed one code. So if I click on this initial commit, so one file this will show like if you see this detail like commit ID it is giving. Okay, so commit ID means each time if the somebody is putting their code on the GitHub, one particular ID will be generated. So this why this ID is getting generated, to track like at what time who has committed the code. Committed means push the code to this repository. So I have created my repository, and I selected the GitHub repo. I put the description. So this was my first commit. So that's why it is coming like initial commit by default. Once like if I put some new code, so that will be my commit, new commit, and in that different title will come. But this was the initial commit. So now we can discuss more about like what is the commit. So commit is like uh, identification for pushing code each time. A commit will be consist of how we will identify. It has the commit ID. It has a commit ID. Along with the commit ID, username will be there. Whoever is committing. There will be timing also, like how many minutes back they have committed. So like if in evening I will go and check. So it will say like Arun Singh has made the commit 10 hours ago. So see here you can see like committing 2 minute committed 2 minutes. So 2 minutes back I committed this file. So timing is also see it's got updated to 3 minutes. So timing automatically is also getting updated. So it is also telling like how long back the person has made the code change. Okay, and it will also show like what line it has made change. So it is saying like this green it is showing, it means it code has been added. Suppose I go ahead and delete one file, so the red background will come. So the red will show like a code has been deleted. So it will show the timing. Then it will, if the red it is showing, so file line get deleted. Green if it is line get added. Along with the timing, it will also show the like line numbers. If you see here, this line number 1 and 2 I have added. So line number is also showing. Suppose I have the 50 lines of code and just I change the 45 and 46 number line. So it will just show here in with this commit ID. This commit ID it will show like only the two lines 45 and 46. It will not show the complete file. So this is just a brief description about what is the commit. Now I'll go back again to my repository. Okay, so this is the basic description about the when the initial file is getting created. Now I'll just briefly talk about what are the different tabs present here. So first tab is the code. So code is just like when we create our file with the default code, whatever it is there, it will show. Second is the we'll talk about this different tab I think later, but let me describe like in the code tab what all things are present. So different tabs are there. Like we have the code, then we have issues, pull request, action, project. Wiki security insight setting. So now we'll talk about the code, like what is present on the code tab basically. So in code tab, if you will see, first thing is like this one icon which is showing some tree like branches. So here, first thing will be the like a branch. So now we'll discuss more detail about what is the branch. So branch is, as I mentioned here on top, like it is helping us to maintain the different version, helping us to maintain the different versions. Okay. And by default, the branch which will come, that will be the main. By default, main branch will come. In some of the organizations, there are by default branch is master. Earlier, the like by default branch was getting created as master, but in new versions of the GitHub, like main branch is getting created as like with name main it is coming that directly which is showing like it is the main branch. Earlier it was the master. So now if I suppose I have to create the like I have the initial file, but suppose I have to create the different version for it. So I will just go ahead and click here. The drop down option is there, main. If I click suppose like version 1, so it is saying like create branch v1 from main. So its meaning is like whatever the code is present is in the main branch, it will create a copy of that. So v1, if I click on the create branch v1 from main, see like now here the two branches it is showing. Earlier it was the one branch, now it is the two branch. And if I click on this drop down, it will show the name of those two branches which are present, main and v1. And this is the one option to see like how many branches are there. Second option is we can also click on this branches icon here, two branches. So when I click on this, it will show like default branch is the main branch, and if I scroll down, v1 updated 8 minutes ago by Arun Singh. So main branch was also updated 8 minutes ago, and I have just created the copy of that branch. So that branch is also updated 8 minutes ago only, because both are created at the, I mean, I have not made any code change in the v1 branch. Now now we have the two sets basically to make the code change. One is the main branch and other is v1. So if like whatever the code I want in the main branch, then I have to follow some other steps. But generally people do not directly make change in the main branch. They generally made the code changes in the like their personal branch like v1, v2, v3, and then at last they will get reviewed that code by their team members, everybody, and when the everybody like approve that request, then they will merge their code in the main branch. So merging means bringing code back from the v1 branch to the main branch. So here I have created the v1 branch. Now suppose I will go ahead and make some changes in the my readme file. Like there is only one file. I will go here. I will add one new line like code added by v1 branch. So here directly we can change our code also basically. And in our local system, like if you are using the Eclipse or different tools related to the programming language, there also we can make the code change. So just I'm saying like from screen how to make change in the file. So we have to click on that file, edit option is there, and then preview option. Second option is the preview. So if you click on preview, so it will say like how it will look to the other person who will accessing that. And edit means just to make the code change there. So here suppose in preview it is coming in next line, then again I will check in the preview. Now there is no space, so it will be like in the single line. Okay, if I want this in the edit to be present in the next line, then I will add here. So the code is coming in the next line. So preview is just like how it will look like to the person later on after the code is committed, and edit is for changing the code. Now here some of the different options are there like soft wrap. Those are the different features. You can explore more about that, but just I wanted to see the here our main target is like what is the meaning of the branch basically to understand that. So now here the green icon, if you see commit changes. So when I click on the commit changes, this new line will be committed. So it is asking some description, like what I have to give the message so that the other person who will come back, they will understand like what you have made the change. So I'm writing here like added first code from new branch, and that is the v1 branch name I'm giving. So that is the description. If you want some like long description, so this short description will be the kind of the summary, and if you want some long description, then we can put here. So I am not having any long description, so just I will keep it a blank. Then it is asking like commit directly to the v1 branch. So if I click on this, it will commit into the v1 branch. It is also saying like create a new branch from the commit and start a pull request. So we'll discuss later on like about the second point, like what is the pull request, how to create a new branch we already just discussing on. So I'll commit changes. When I click on commit changes, okay, so here this is branch. You can see like branch is selected as v1, and in the v1 branch, two lines are present. But if I select this as main, again, if I go to the main branch from here drop down, in the main branch there is only one line is present. So now I think you might have got the bit idea like what is the difference between the maintaining the two branches. In other branch we are having some other piece of code, and in the main branch we are having some other piece of code. So main branch is on for any new branch we will create from the main, but to be our code only present, so for the development purpose, while our code is not finally ready, till that time we can have our code in the different branch. So this was just the branching strategy, like how to create new branch and how to put the code in the new branch. Okay, so now I think our meeting will over in next 5 minutes. So any doubts so far in the creating the branches, and like how to any doubts?
No.
So yeah, so we have discussed about the code tab, then we have discussed about the branch. Okay, so now we are having the branches as main branch. So now what will be our next steps? Basically next we will be getting that code, getting a GitHub code in our local system. For that we'll be using the tools, like we can use the Eclipse, we can use the GitHub desktop, and we need basically when we will take the code on our local, it will ask for our username and password. It will ask for okay. So yeah, let me come back to the screen. I will just briefly describe like what we have covered so far. So first we'll log into our GitHub repo. We have to go to our profile from here, your profile section. Then you have to click on the your repository tab. There new icon you will get for the repository. So on new icon you have to give the repository name. You have to decide like your profile should be the public or private. If you want everybody to see, that will be public. Private, in case of the private, you will decide like who can see and who can change the code. Then you can add one default file as a readme file, and we can also like if you want some piece of the code to be ignored for a particular programming language, C++ or any language code, then you will select that language. That code will be ignored. Basically, I mean, that will be not present in your GitHub repo. Then you can add some license for your specific to your organization, some security license, so that you can add, then you can create your repository. Since we have created our repository, we can cancel it. One more option is there, import repository. If you see here, we can create the repository, but other thing is like if you click on this import repository. Okay, so I'm just opening in the new tab. So if you want to import the repository, import means some of your code is some present on some other link, and from there you want to get your code. So I have to get here, like give the URL repository name basically, and then it is asking for the begin import, but for importing the code, it should, here we have to give some URL. So it is asking for some URL here. If you see svn.example.org, so svn is a new other it is competitor of the GitHub, so we can get the code from there. Suppose from the different GitHub repository, basically there is one more repository. I suppose there is some existing repository I have and I want to get the code. So that new repository I can give the code. The code will be copied from there